Hi, my name is Ava Richards and welcome back to the third episode of Quaran-Tea Time, a show where I team up with my friends over a Zoom call for the ultimate baking competition. I decided for this series that every other week, instead of doing a normal competition, that I could share some recipes with really common ingredients during the quarantine. That way, everyone can bake delicious food without having to go get extra supplies from the store that can sometimes be unavailable. For this week's recipe, I've decided to share a really simple way of making bread, but without any yeast in it, which I know is a little bit crazy, but I just know that some people are struggling to find yeast in the stores right now, so I thought that I would make this video. So without further ado, let's get cooking.
The ingredients we need are 3 cups of flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of butter, and as a leavening agent, 1 12-ounce bottle of beer. So as a quick disclaimer here, if you are under the legal drinking age in your country, make sure to get a parent or guardian's permission to make this recipe. You can even have them handle the parts that involve the beer too. Alright, to continue on, the first step is to of course preheat our oven to 375 degrees. Then I grabbed a large bowl and my sieve and poured all of my flour into it, which proved to be a very silly idea because it took me forever to get it all through. You want to make sure that you sift the flour since otherwise your bread will come out very cake-like. Then I poured in the baking powder, salt, and sugar, and whisked it all together. Now it's time to pour the beer into the flour mixture. Like I mentioned earlier, you can have a parent pour it in, which is what I did. It's also better to pour a little bit at a time because it makes it a lot easier to mix everything all together. But after that, it will look like a really nice dough. Then I cut my butter into a small bowl to melt it in the microwave. I microwaved it for 25 seconds and stirred it afterwards to make sure that everything had fully melted. Then I grabbed a loaf tin and used the rest of my stick of butter to grease it. Now it's time to pour the dough into the pan. I used a wooden spoon to spread it out and make sure that it went into all of the corners. After that, you can pour the melted butter on top of it to help it form a nice crust. Then I plopped it into the oven and set a timer for an hour, which I know is a long time, but I promise it's worth the wait. When it was done, I took it out and look at how amazing it looks! After it cooled for 15 minutes, I took it out of the tin and let it cool even more. And this is what the finished product looks like.
Alright, so now it's time to taste test the bread. I just cut a little slice of it right here and we're just gonna try it and see how it tastes. The thing about this bread is that it is a little bit dense, but I like dense bread. I think it tastes a lot better, so I don't really mind that fact. Because we did put a 1/4 cup of sugar in it, it is a little bit sweet, so if you don't want your bread to be sweet, you can just add a little bit less sugar. And I also added a little bit more salt because I've made this in the past and just thought that I could use a little bit more. But other than that, I think that this bread is actually really good. It's definitely a really quick and easy recipe that you can make if the stores are running low on bread, or if you just kind of want to try something out and bake something really cool. If you want to make this bread, the link for the recipe is in the description below, as it always is. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Quaran-Tea Time. I'll see you next time for a regularly scheduled baking competition. Bye!